You just found the perfect product that helps with staying cool during hot summer runs. No more gross warm water. Stay cool with this product from Gear Handle. This hydration tube cover helps keep your water cool and easily accessible. Stay hydrated during those long summer runs or even delay from freezing in the winter. Plus, they're compatible with various brands of water bladders and come in various colors. Visit GearHandle.com and use promo code H2O today.
BooBaes.
Hi.
Hi.
And hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. We're here.
We're here. It's the BooBaes.
BooBaes, I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Joshua.
And this is the second time we're recording this episode.
This is the second time that
The ghost something took hold and made a USB. What was that thing called?
No, it's a memory SD card. Yeah. It blew up.
Explode.
Caught flames.
So what I think it was, it's the people from the Blue Skeleton trying to make sure that this information doesn't get out.
Literally.
Yeah.
Someone came in the middle of the night with like a bunny suit and an axe.
And destroyed it because we were covering the houses October built. And they said, no, this information has to stay under wrap.
They don't want that out there.
Would that give you a greater appreciation for this film?
It would, actually.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I'm going to go with that. That feels right. That feels correct for this podcast and my fantasy.
Spoiler alert.
We are going to be covering...
Oh, yeah, the houses October built.
But also, what's the spoiler alert?
Oh, you're not the biggest fan of this film.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I think,
I think, and what I mentioned in the first time we recorded this.
In Grave Encounters.
Yeah.
Which now came out in front of this one.
Yeah. And so you guys, this is actually, it's funny because this was actually supposed to lead in for our October Spooky Fest month as our first episode, which we had set up when we recorded it. And then Grave Encounters was to follow, because we even talk about in the last Houses of October when we were talking about, and next week in Grave Encounters, like we mentioned it a few times. And now it's going to be flip-flopped. So the episode that you've already heard should have been second, but this one's first. But now this one's second. But
and I think if I remember correctly, I did listen to the Grave Encounters one yesterday. And I believe we did talk about how you were not a fan of this film.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you already know anyways, but you don't know the exact boo rating we gave. I don't even know the exact boo rating we originally gave this.
I remember mine. I might give it a lower one, actually.
What? No. What did you give it? Okay, you will say that for the end.
Yeah.
Anyways. But yes, so this is 2014. The house is October built. The directorial debut for Bobby Rowe.
Yeah. And
what a name. That sounds like a fake name, like John Doe.
It probably is, like a pseudonym, stage name. It's a found footage.
If you could choose any name, why would you choose Bobby Rowe?
I don't know. We'd have to ask Bobby Rowe.
Bobby.
But it's a found footage horror film. And it's pretty much, we're covering a gang who are going on a little road trip who are checking out haunted houses. The extreme thrills, because their leader, quote unquote leader, Sack, is really gung-ho on finding like the most extreme haunt.
Yeah.
Which they're going to find is named the Blue Skeleton. And it's a pretty bumpy ride.
Yep. They're going all over, and they have like this weird GPS with like skulls on it and stuff that helps them locate these haunted houses. And then obviously some of them are so extreme that they're like underground, basically, because
like word of mouth.
Not legal. Because they're trying to murder people.
They're doing everything close to it.
So this is the one that I had mentioned covering quite a while ago.
You did.
And because in my personal opinion, I like it better than Hellfest. And I will stand by that.
Hellfest,
yes. The fact that there's no like deaths doesn't bother me. I think had there not been the second one that came out and it left you in suspense, I feel like it would be higher in my mind, and probably yours as well, because then you don't technically know if anyone survives.
And you think that they're all dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that would have been a better ending.
Instead of them
like,
coming back.
There's no reason to reprise that.
Same with Grave Encounters. And the second one with Homeboy being
coming back
alive still and living off of water bottles and rats for what, like 9 years? I feel like that's a made up number I just had right now, but
9 months, 9 days, 9 hours, 9 minutes.
You can make it 9 days without having to eat rats. Jesus like didn't eat for 40 days and 40 nights, but that's also not a real story.
That's also the power of pine salt, baby. So, but yeah,
the benefit of this though,
yes, tell me,
is
please.
we do now have a listener review to read on it.
Okay.
So we'll read that at the end.
Yeah. So the movie starts off with us getting a quote that is basically saying, like, I'm not afraid of werewolves or vampires. I'm afraid of like what real human beings can do to other human beings.
Yeah, because that is the scariest. I mean, that's what, and we've said that so many times on this show before too. That's what's terrifying.
Yeah. Truly.
Ultimately, more so than, well, I don't know. Paranormal is so scary because then you can't actually fight it. It's like you just punch in air.
In a way. But yes, yeah. But it's just actually getting terrorized by actual other human beings, because it's like, come on, bro, chill out.
I'm a human too.
Yeah. But that's just like, what?
It's sick.
That's trauma, baby. And so we have that human being quote thing, and then we start off with kind of like an interview style.
Yeah.
Of
very docu-series.
Yeah, that's the word. And we learned that there's like over 2,500 haunted houses that open up every season. Yeah. Apparently, in like some like what 30 or 60,000. I don't even remember what number it was.
I don't remember.
It's got to be
a big number.
It was either 30 or 60,000. It's neither in between or nor. It's one of those. But
32.5 thousand.
No. But that many people go out every season to check out the haunted houses and get scared. Yeah. And the haunted house owner is talking about the employees there and how they don't necessarily vet the employees per se. There's like no
let anyone wander in.
Background process checking. It's just kind of like, okay, you want to work here? All right, here we go.
That's problematic.
Yeah, it gives like very like, are we paying them under the table? Like, what is this?
Yeah, probably.
Right?
Well, like children.
Yeah,
I mean, they're a lot
true.
too. And I was like, how are they paying these kids?
And so
this 5-year-old's paying taxes. I mean, they just. It's in their parents, but
right. Yeah. So, and so we also learn about like certain tragedies that have happened at haunted houses.
There's apparently a 17-year-old who accidentally hung herself, and then people just walked on by thinking it was part of it.
Yeah.
Which was like, that kind of happened in Hellfest. One of the murders at the very first murder, remember he hung that person up
in a little room, but there was also other bodies.
Yeah. And everyone else was just kind of like,
it's just a regular, like it's a dummy body.
Yeah, they said they didn't notice for a few days because
I think it was 3 officially, 3 days, and then they were like, "Oh shit,
someone is dead."
She was like,
I'm sure she must have been smelling.
Yeah, decay. Like the body's just like sagging off the hook. And so
that was 0.0 megahertz where she was like left there for so long, where the body like
like bent neck lady-ish.
Well, but yeah, like didn't her body completely separate?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I think she was there for so long, and so then her little head was up there, but
like
her whole decapitated. Just
it was like pulling apart like string cheese.
Like a little like a cheese stick.
Like a mozzarella stick. Oof. And so we get that it's October 2013. And we're meeting our guys and gal of the gang. We have them meeting up at a bar.
Not before we get some footage at the end, though, of the blue skeleton people.
Oh, you're right.
We get our girl, Brandy.
This whole thing that's setting up the movie.
Trunk.
Wow, that's right.
She's, we get this like flash. We don't really know who this is yet, but we're getting this shot of this girl in a trunk, and she's like clearly disoriented. She's like in and out of consciousness and kind of just like,
clearly shady. She's been kidnapped.
Yeah. And like she's still being filmed, obviously. And then we later find out that that's the blue skeleton people. But yes. And then we're kind of starting at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
But then we are
at
meeting everyone
6 days earlier, apparently.
Yes, in Tyler, Texas.
Tyler, Texas. We meet Bobby, Zach, Jeff, Mikey, and Brandy, who are all friends. They've known each other for quite a while, it seems like. Bobby and Zach are brothers.
Yes.
Or
is it Mikey and Zach?
Mikey and Zach.
think
Mikey and
is
Bobby.
Mikey and Bobby.
I think it's Mikey and
It's
Bobby.
Mikey and Bobby.
It's Mikey
and Bobby.
Bobby and Mikey. Mikey and Bobby. It's them, and then we just have them kind of talking.
I do remember us having that conversation last time too.
Literally. But it is Mikey and Bobby.
And skeleton versus skeleton.
Oh, it's skeleton.
Skeleton.
It's the blue skeleton.
Yeah.
Okay, we won't rehash that. And so we have them just kind of catching up. Zach is talking to them about his wanting to find all these haunted houses, the most extreme haunts. And Brandy is like, oh my gosh, where'd you find all this stuff? And she's like mentioning the World Wide Web, which to me kind of dates the movie a little bit more than I guess it should. Yeah. Because it came out in 2013, but and there wasn't any preface of this is from 2000 and I don't know. Maybe it was. I
don't think it. I think it was supposed to have been in 2013.
Yeah, right. The year, but it just.
And I mean, I'm thinking about. Well, I guess in 2013, I did have my laptop in college, but I definitely had to be connected to a router,
and when they had that thing in the car, that was giving them the pumpkin GPS and whatever and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I remember in 2012, when I was in high school, I mean, I was also very low income housing, but I had, or I guess it was just first half 2012, we had one computer and it was definitely still dial up.
Yeah.
It sometimes took 20 minutes for a page to load.
We had an old laptop.
Yeah. So I feel I feel World Wide Web still kind of called that, I guess. And maybe it definitely was not as accessible then even as it is now.
It's true.
Because even my first iPhone, I didn't get an iPhone until I was in college. So probably 2013 by that point.
I didn't get an iPhone until 2012. I was a senior in high school.
I had gotten my first smartphone, but it was definitely an Android.
Mine too.
And then my iPhone. It was
called an Aria.
Yeah. I don't remember what mine was.
It's weird.
I had a Juke and I know I had a Razor.
Oh, the Juke. I remember that one. It was skinny, right? Yeah. And it would flip out or shoot up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like this, and then it was like a switchblade.
It would swivel out. Yeah. I remember that one. That one was pretty cool. And it was
for playing music.
Everybody liked that one.
I remember a little jukebox.
Back in the day, it's late mid 2000s, I guess, when everybody had the T-Mobile the kick, the flips or whatever. I don't even know what they're called.
Yeah, mine didn't have that. I think it is a
kick or something. Yeah. And I thought they were so cool because like little Game Boys, and it would flip up, and it was a whole keyboard. Yeah. Oh. I thought they looked like the things too from Digivices from Digimon.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they really do.
Anyways. So back to October. And so we have them all getting and talking together. I'm obviously ragging on Brandy.
Oh, and she's asking, she's also asking the correct questions though on whether or not they do background checks. And this is where I think they say no.
Yeah,
not all
that's
the time.
Right.
They don't.
They don't.
And then it was
because they also go out partying. They ride mechanical bulls. They do this whole bit.
Very chaotic footage.
Yeah. And then we have so if you have motion sickness, just be careful when you're watching this movie because it could make you feel a little nauseated.
Especially that scene.
Yeah. I would say take a Dramamine pill, chewable tablet before watching it. But now we go. It's the daytime. They have a trailer,
and we get a flash that says 5 days till Halloween.
5 days, and they're in a trailer. They are getting all together. We're talking to Brandy. We're talking to Jeff.
And I think Bobby's installing cameras on the RV. And Zach, this is where Zach had a girl in the RV. She just wiggles past.
Yeah, that's right.
It's oh, or I'm sorry. Mikey did. And Zach tried to put his dick in a pumpkin. Which, no. Because pumpkin insides make me all itchy.
I don't know.
When I have to carve a pumpkin and get the innards out, it makes my skin get a rash.
Boys put their dicks in all kinds of things.
It's true, grapefruit. I don't understand how. That
I've never done it. I couldn't tell you.
If you have any surface cuts.
Gotta burn.
Imagine if you're uncircumcised and you've got a little bit of someone pulled a little too hard.
I don't know
you can get a little cut.
I don't know if that would. Oh, okay, yeah. But they would specifically have to be cut. But then I'm I hope somebody's penis isn't getting cut at, because that's very unfortunate.
But when there's that extra skin and it pulls back, it can
go in there.
Little cuts can happen.
Oh, really? Abrasions? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
It's like a little surface wound. A little tiny, like has your earlobe?
I guess I've never heard of people pulling the foreskin like that far back.
Oh yeah, I have. But like your ear skin, how like your earlobe connects to your neck.
Yes.
You ever get those little tiny cuts there?
No.
Oh, I do.
I've never gotten a cut
Like
there.
sometimes, and maybe it's because I have plugs, but sometimes my ear will get like the skin connecting my earlobe to my neck, like will get like a cut.
A little cut.
Because the skin got pulled a little too hard, and it just went.
It just split. Okay, I feel you. I think you need to take some vitamins.
Yeah, probably.
I'm just kidding.
No, I think I just am too aggressive with like.
Who's pulling your ear, Caitlin? Shout out. Never mind. And so we have them all together in the trailer, and they're going out in the country and out in the open road because there's no rules and no regulations out in the country. And this is where they stop for directions at this one like little grocery store.
Little gas station.
This weird dude is like, "Are you sure you want to go this way?" Wherever they're
sure
asking.
y'all want to go there?
Yeah,
he's like a little harbinger.
And he was. I was even when I first watched it, it was like he gave me shady vibes. Like I feel like he was still in on it, just like everyone other harbinger usually is.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah. But they end up finding their first haunted house place. Before that they start taking shots on the road, don't they?
Oh, probably.
Yeah. That's
right.
I don't know. Because they start reading Jeff's poem, and then
I just completely skipped over that because I was like, ew.
Yeah, and then it's not good, you guys. And then we go to Cato Mills, Texas, and that's whenever they go to the haunted house. And they see
kind
that
of first haunt is up. And
I
said, oops, some foreshadowing right there when they put Brandy in that coffin.
Exactly.
And we find out that she's claustrophobic.
She doesn't like being in the coffin. Not one bit.
Which is like, that's fair.
Yeah. And so at this point they're walking around. I think at this point we even see the girl from the cover of the film. She's
doll. About to come in. Like they're going through. Ew, and this is the haunted house. It's like splatted Brandy with blood.
Yeah,
it like sprayed blood at her. I've never been in a house that.
This is extreme murder.
Ew.
Yeah.
I would be so mad.
I would be upset.
Yeah.
Because that's probably
don't like to get wet
clothes.
Without my permission. Yeah, I could stain whatever the fuck I'm wearing.
Yeah.
And then, like, then that shit's like in your hair and stuff for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for that.
I wouldn't appreciate it.
And then there was a fucking wheelchair in there.
Yeah.
Fucking goddamn wheelchairs.
Yeah. So they're going throughout. There's like a club room. There's like, and Brandy is getting shit scared the whole time she's in there as well.
Because
she's really easily targeted.
As all females are. That's why you always go in a group with a female who's more scared than you.
Caitlin's going to trip you.
You don't get targeted. That's every time I go, I'm like, okay, I got to find someone who's going to.
She's weak.
Yep. And I'm like,
points her out.
And then like the one who's like hiding at every turn. Cause then I'm most of the time like, because I like laugh when I'm scared a lot of the times. And
evil.
I'm just like,
evil. And so, they go through all this. The music is really creepy. We have them finally getting into a room where we have Porcelain Girl being like, come play with me. Do you want to be a pretty girl like me?
Do you want to be a pretty dolly like me?
That's it. And it's really creepy. It's giving really spooky, ooky vibes.
And then there's some people like coming from the ceiling, right? And saying, ashes, ashes. And that part was
coming from everywhere.
Fucking terrifying. I didn't like that. I was like, nope, hard pass. I would not want to be in that room.
Definitely been in haunted houses where they like have the fake ceilings. Yeah. And they're like walking on top of it. And they finally they get out and they're interviewing more people, I believe, at this point. Some of the employees, that one employee, because he's like, do you think some shady shit be going on? And he's like, you know what? I believe it. Or something like that. He's just like, yeah. And so
he was like, oh, definitely.
That's whenever
shady shit?
They end up. Yeah.
That's our middle name.
I wouldn't put it past us.
Yeah.
And so that's whenever they end up climbing on the roof.
Yeah. Fucking dummies.
Yeah. Because why would you do that anywhere? That wouldn't be okay anywhere.
Yeah.
And so
especially also, I'm sorry, if I was going to climb on a roof, I think the roof of a haunted house would be something I would trust the least.
Right. I feel like you would fall through it.
Yeah. It feels, because it's not like a permanent, like, well, sometimes they are permanent structures, but a lot of the times they're like pop up.
They just build it up.
And then so I'm like, I don't think I'd want to be up up there.
And so Mikey's up there, and he's like starts getting on a megaphone and yelling at the crowd of people. And you can see that there's some clowns that aren't happy about it. So, so we have them getting confronted by these clowns.
It literally is like getting jumped by a group of clowns.
Literally.
Which is,
yeah, and so they're getting attacked, and so
everyone's
they're like,
worst nightmare.
So they're like, okay, you know what, we're leaving. So they end up trying to get out. But whenever they are trying to drive out, there's a clown that's just like in the middle of the road, or
just like
by the side of the road,
down,
staring them down, and they're like, "Ooh," and he looks pissed off. But then that's it. They're just like, "Okay, we're gonna drive off now," and so they do. We end up getting some B-roll footage of them in the trailer. Then we see that it's nighttime, and there's something outside of the trailer walking by.
Yeah, there's some people outside their RV for sure.
And this is whenever we're like, "Ooh, who's that? What's happening?" And we have, I believe it is it Mikey that woke up in the middle of the night and he's looking outside?
Maybe.
I think it's Mikey. He's the one out there, and he's like, he heard something.
I feel like Mikey was the one who kind of was like witnessing a lot of the stuff.
Most of the things, yeah. He went out there to check because I think he heard a noise, and he's checking behind the bush, and then that's whenever Bobby pops up behind him with the mask, and he's like scares him, which is kind of confusing because it's like at this point we're led to believe that they're already getting followed by like that shadow that was walking by, or was that Bobby?
Yeah, I feel like it was definitely the people,
right?
Already,
and he was so.
And then it kind of like it makes you think
you're
like
off
the hook,
herring. Okay,
but you're not.
They definitely are being followed already.
Yeah. I think the moment they got up on that roof, they made themselves targets.
That's true.
And then like that guy staying outside their RV. Yeah, I feel like from the get.
Yeah, they were like, let's fuck with these assholes. And so, they won't let them. Oh, where am I at? My bad. Okay, my notes. Sorry.
4 days till Halloween is what happens now.
Yes.
We flash to the daytime. This is where they like drive through whatever's right past Waco. That XXX sign, was that like in Hillsboro or something?
Yes, exactly. And they're eating edibles at this point.
Zach's hella high.
They're talking about a fear of snakes. And then they pull up to a campsite.
Yeah, and that's where they talk. Zach says, "How much money would it take to put you on a coffin with snakes?" And it's like,
no, not enough.
No,
not enough.
I don't think any sort of money.
I'm not even afraid of snakes like that in a way, but like I don't want to be like in a bed of snakes as well.
So afraid of snakes. I don't care if they're non-venomous. They're little.
They do feel weird.
Yeah, their slimy skin. They are weird. I've also felt them.
Yeah.
And just imagine like laying on a bed of that makes my whole skin.
And they're slithering around you.
Yeah. And like around my throat and constricting me. And then there's one giant one eating me like the little snake on Nightmare Before Christmas eating the Christmas tree. I am the
Dead.
That's what my stepfather told me. I all growing up, he said, "You look like a Christmas tree," because my hips were too big.
Oh God. Okay. And on that note,
I'm a Christmas tree. No.
Oh no, you're not.
He also called me Hips Ahoy. I was like
childhood trauma. Yeah, childhood trauma. Bad.
Anyways.
As if the McCrispy couldn't get any better, Bacon and Ranch just entered the chat. The Bacon Ranch McCrispy, available at participating McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
And so they're pulling up at a campsite, and there's kind of like a little fire that's dying out there, but for some reason they end up just being like, okay, we're just gonna sit here anyways.
Yeah, even though I guess, and that totally can happen. But also this campsite felt like it was on the side of the road.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
Not like a legit campsite.
Yeah, not at all.
It felt just some
But it's also
like
the
back
perspective
road.
that we got though. They could have been pulled off a little bit, but
and there are a lot of campsites,
dark.
But like ones that you can drive your RVs up to, most of the time.
It very much gave that they literally were just like a round of chairs right next to the freeway.
Yeah,
like to the road.
It did.
Yeah, it did. I know
or
what you mean.
Like they turned off a tiny gravel road, went about maybe a mile in, and then we're like, okay, we'll camp here.
Yeah.
And then there was still a fire burning. And at that point I would be like, No.
And
or just, you know, like the embers. There
shouldn't
little...
be too many people out there. And so this is when we get that Jeff wrote a rap. It's horrible. We don't need to talk about it.
The worst thing.
I'm like, he deserves to die. And holy shit, there's someone that walks up from behind Mikey, I believe, and he's like, "Are you enjoying my fire?
What y'all doing with my fire?"
Yeah. And
that's not what he sounded like.
they end up, it's almost there. They end up having him sitting with him. They're talking to him, like asking him if he works for the haunted house down the way, and he's like, "Yeah,
I live in the woods."
And he lives in the woods. And basically, I think it's Zach that's like, you know, we really like these, you know, haunted houses that are out here because they're in they're backwoods.
Yeah,
and
there's like less rules with these backwoods ones.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when everyone's dude's like, "What do you mean by backwoods?" And it's real like awkward. Literally awkward.
Everyone just kind of like chokes on their drink, and then they're just kind of awkwardly looking
no
at one another.
How to respond.
Like, oh fuck, we just called this man a backwood. I mean, he's literally living in the fucking woods though.
Literally, he said, "I live in the woods." But we end up getting to the haunted house, a different one,
in Eureka, Texas.
And this one's really cool because it's a paintball style like haunted house.
Zombie paintball.
Yeah, they get to shoot all the zombies, which sounds like fun.
It
honestly
does.
would enjoy that. I feel like
not
if they were shooting me.
Yeah, no, I would want to be the shooter. They're driving around on like a little hay bale tractor thing, and you just get to shoot. There was at first like dummies, but then it was like real people. So like, I wonder how much those people get paid because
I mean, they must enjoy
hurts.
it. Well, but there's some people that really one.
I'm sure they're well padded,
and probably there are also like my cousins that would play all the time. They like didn't.
People go hard in the paint,
and they would have welts and bruises, and there was no complaining about it whatsoever. They enjoyed it and had that much fun that I don't think that they cared about the bruises and the pain.
That's how I felt about other things.
Yeah, same. And so we are that all happens. It looks like really, really fun. I would really want to do that. And then that's whenever...
Because then it's also not scary. Well, I mean, I guess if you're scared of zombies, but...
yeah, that's true.
I'm not really scared of zombies.
That's whenever they're going to be leaving, but that's whenever Porcelain Dog Lady is back. And she's like in the road. And they're
her car's broken down.
They're like,
something.
"What's going on?" Because Mikey goes to like talk to her. And he just ends up coming back with her on the bus. And he's just like, "I didn't tell her, like I didn't invite her. She just wasn't saying anything and she just followed me."
Talking to her, and then she was not responding, and he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna get back on," and she just like came with him
right behind him. Yeah.
And then she just sat there looking at all of them, and then all of a sudden it's
very
like
weird.
That's just very good. Screaming.
It's like a wailing scream.
It was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then she's like breathing all weird, like
and everybody's like wide-eyed, has no idea has no idea how to react. Brandy definitely looks like she's freaked out of her mind.
Because this is the girl who's on the cover. It is a very unsettling mask.
It's not cute.
No, and if that thing got on to what
I
might
would be creeped
enclose
out.
space,
And you were at and like you had already seen them at the haunted house before, like that's really weird.
Why? Yeah, because typically if you're going to a haunted house, like that person works those haunted houses, which means like, ew, did she just wander in? Or do you think they like plant them all over to then hunt people down to get them to the blue skeleton? Or do you think that they just like randomly walk into haunted houses and act like they work there, and then they just like probably, as a group?
I feel like that's what they would do. Like they would send in probably a few at a time and be like, "Okay, go infiltrate a little here, and a little here.
Wait for someone to piss you off, and then we're gonna kill him."
That sounds like a plan. That's how they pick their people out. And then she ends up then just walking off the bus, which is really weird. And then we just kind of
okay, bye.
Yeah,
I've done my screaming.
Yeah, and then we just kind of cut to more interviews, talking about the blue skeleton place.
People see like this guy was saying he wanted to like see faces of death stuff, like some real intense things like that, and they're like just like kind of talking about how far you can go without actually like killing and hurting people, but like just close enough to it. And it's people are pretty crazy out there. People, and some of those ones that you can pay to go into, like I think you have
McCamey Manor.
You pay, and you then have to sign a waiver. Yeah, because you have to last like a certain amount of time,
8 or 9 hours, and they can do whatever they pretty much want with you because you sign that waiver. Yeah. They can like waterboard you, like break your bones and stuff. Pull can't teeth. They? Yeah, no, hard pass.
Like, I don't think any amount of money would be worth like probably the trauma that you're.
I don't want
whatever reward they're offering is.
It gets very much like Saw, and you like having to like do that,
and you're willingly like signing up for it.
and so you can't sue or do anything because you literally were like, okay.
That's what's nice about haunted houses is, well, theoretically, when I go in,
the ones that aren't extremely haunted,
they can't touch me.
A regular schmegular haunted house.
Yeah, there's always the rule enough. Like. The actors won't touch you, so please don't touch them.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. When she was coming on that bus, I'm like, why is nobody like donkey kicking her? Just like, Like,
if I was Mikey, I would have turned around, braced myself on that door frame, and then just doomp.
Literally.
Kicked her right out.
So they end up finding, I don't know, they end up going on a bridge or like driving. They find a place to, I think, park. Oh no, they go to a different haunted house. That's right, because this is whenever Zach goes to pee in the fucking woods.
And we have 3 days till Halloween now.
Right next to this haunted place.
And that's where the people are talking about the blue skeleton or / blue skull that is now blue skeleton, and how it was in Dallas or Houston last year. And then
because
basically
it travels every year.
And you have to go into the backwoods to find the password for these haunts and stuff. And so now they're in Mansfield, Texas at the Terrorplex.
Mm-hmm.
And Zach goes to go pee.
And that's whenever, he goes to go pee in the little tree shaded bushy area right next to wherever this like haunted Terrorplex is. And that's whenever this dude in a bunny suit that's like all bloody and scary looking with an axe like swings at a tree and starts like making noises at him.
Yeah, like grunting.
Grunting at him and like it's really scaring the crap out of him because he starts running and he's chasing after him and he makes him fall and he's screaming like, "What do you want from me? What do you want from me?" And he doesn't say anything. He's just messing with him.
And the way that the bunny acted a little bit cute. It like had its little paws up and then like cocked its head and it's like me, kind of thing. And I was like, nope, I don't like
evil bunny.
That like dichotomy is like no. Duality, not a fan.
It's very scary. I was like, this shit is actually scary. I would be pissing myself. I don't know.
And maybe
just be running like peeing on myself because I wouldn't have stood there and kept peeing.
No, I would have been like, the moment he was like, "Hey, dude," and it's like, no,
because he's still talking to him for a minute.
No.
But
maybe they're just on patrol to make sure no one's like public urination.
Maybe.
No, he's clearly a part of this blue skeleton.
Chopping foreskins off.
Chopping foreskins off, saying you showed up in circumcised. It's a child. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh, that was biblical. You took it to the next level.
So you can have whatever kind of penis you want.
We have these people looking. We have them going into the haunted house, and it looks like their people are being actually tortured. Because we have this like dual-sided. It's not I don't think it's a two-way mirror. It's just like literally just like a plexiglass clear, and they can see like doctors performing on someone, but it's this dude like running up and slamming on the thing and saying like, "Please help me," like screaming. And it looks really real.
It felt like he was like legitimately being murdered. This guy's a really solid actor. Like up that man's pay.
Honestly, but not too much really happens here. They just kind of go through it.
Well, Brandy does get separated from Zach.
Okay. Yes.
And that's kind of a little bit important. But then and then there's that elevator falling trick. That was cool. I liked that. We're in that like weird asylum place. It was like a nursery, but it was obviously a very creepy nursery.
Yeah.
Because then that like elevator falls down, or however they made it happen. I don't know. Like kind of the haunted house leads you onto this elevator, and then it seems like it's falling, and then it kind of opens you up on this new level, which is neat. I'm not sure how they did that.
It's kind of like probably like those type of roller coaster things that are like
just
on
like
a little thing.
Yeah. Kind of wobble you around like a like a
made
fair.
Them feel like they were falling.
And they walk out of that, and they're in like this creepy, kind of like in a hallway with weird patients walking around or nurses or something, and they make it to a little kid's room.
Oh, they do. And that's whenever the lady's in the chair.
And everyone's like saying Brandy's name.
That's right.
And saying, "You're going to die."
It's really freaky.
It is.
Yeah. And that's whenever
I would
think
be freaked
she's
out
even,
if people knew my name.
And she's not amused. And I think even at that point, she was just like, how did the fuck did they even like know my name? Like,
which is like, well, if you are talking in line and you're like, "Hey, Brandy."
Mikey is trying to like play it off like there's something reasonable or something like that. She's just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they will do that in haunted houses. If they figure out your name. Like there was one time, I believe, I felt like I was followed through a house once by this particular actor. I don't think they were calling me by my name, but like this same actor kept like finding us throughout the house.
Yeah.
And they were saying
Targeting
things like,
you.
from our situation earlier and stuff. Now, of course, I was also antagonizing this person. So I was like making rude jokes at it or something.
Oh,
I don't know. Just not
it's
rude.
Playful banter back and forth.
But I was like being a little asshole child, you know? Like, fuck you. I shouldn't have said those words when I was
eating
whatever
your words.
age that was.
Yeah.
I could have been murdered. I don't know. Pretty young.
Oh, okay. Like 7, 8? Okay.
No, I was in like high school.
Oh, okay.
I was definitely cussing by then. It's okay. I was cussing by like 5th grade, I think.
And so they made it through all of this haunted house. And then they get back on the bus, right?
Yeah,
and they start talking
learn
about fears.
Yeah, they learned that another kid accidentally hung himself as well.
That's
so
right.
I guess that kind of happens a lot. I don't know. They were interviewing some people and stuff like that. And then my next note says 2 days to Halloween. But I don't yet. They might have gotten back on the bus. I don't remember now.
Is it because at this point, right after that, they go to the haunted strip club? Do they not?
Yes. Yeah. 2 days to Halloween in Shallowater, Texas. We get the creepy strip club.
Yeah. Which is a lot of big boobs and ladies in masks.
Zombie strippers.
Big
boobs
boobs
are totally fake.
Big boobs.
They're boobs.
Boobs.
Big
That's how
boobies.
it's like, when they look that big, I'm like, that's big boobs. Yeah.
It's like the O's touch.
They're like.
And so the O's touch the B's as well.
They look like balloons.
Yes, because they're definitely fake. It's like a whole ass watermelon strapped to these women's chest, and they're like not moving at all.
Yeah,
because they're just so like stiff.
What's the call for that? Like the big tit lady.
Big lady.
If
big
you have,
old kibbies.
It's bigger than, I don't know how big these were. These were huge. But anyways, I was like, was it a chest plate? No, that's someone with like actual boobs that big. And so they are at the strip club. Brandy's not happy to be there really.
Yeah, she does not look.
Yeah, she's not caring for it too much.
Enthused.
But all the rest of the guys obviously are
having
a great time. And I don't really feel like there's much come of it other than I think they start talking to some people outside.
Yeah, there's some poor kid getting terrorized while on the toilet.
At the porta potties.
Yeah, and he was like, I'm just trying to go pee.
Yeah,
I was like, that's terrible. Like, ew, being in a porta potty and then also being ugh.
Yeah.
It reminds me, do you remember 8 Crazy Nights?
Eight Crazy Nights? Oh, no, I never watched that. I wasn't a big Adam Sandler movie.
I did I loved Adam. I love Adam Sandler.
I feel a lot of people do, which is cool. I just wasn't too big of a fan.
It's a little problematic sometimes.
Well,
all comedians. Not all.
I don't know. Yeah, I just never really cared for the movies as much. Like the ones that everybody like, Billy Madison, Little Nicky, the other one, The Water Boy. There's another one I think that everybody watches. I don't know.
The one where he gets freeze or burnt frostbite on his foot and becomes rich.
I'm not sure.
I don't remember. Anyways, but in 8 Crazy Nights, there's one point where this porta potty gets like pushed down a hill, but then it's like so cold, and then so the person comes out and they've got like poopsicles.
Ew, that's gross. Isn't that a cartoon as well?
It is a cartoon. Yes.
Okay, I think I kind of vaguely remember that. And so because it's about Hanukkah, right?
It is, yeah. That's where the song, like, it's time for Hanukkah.
The Hanukkah Christmas. And so they are, wait, is it still a Christmas if it's a Hanukkah?
No.
No, right? It's just a Hanukkah.
It's definitely not. It's Hanukkah. Isn't it Yom Kippur right now?
Yes, it
Jewish?
is. It is, because my
right?
calendar told me on my phone.
Yeah, mine did too. And I was like, oh, cool.
And so there are... oh my goodness, sorry. Yeah. That's happening in the porta potty. And right after that, we have Mikey in the trailer with a chick, I'm assuming is who works at the strip club.
Yeah.
He's talking to her. It's giving really major creep vibes.
He's asking
the
her if
cameras
she's
are recording them.
Ever hooked up with makeup on, and it's like she doesn't know that there's cameras in
all
the
over
RV.
the RV, yeah.
Of course, that's how we're getting that shot of them is through that. But yeah, she has no clue. She just thinks she's having this conversation with a creepy fucking man. 100%.
Yeah.
We also get some more randos telling them about Blue Skeleton again. It's
and
coming up.
He's talking to her about her tattoos, and essentially we get that they had some coitus. They had sexual relations in the trailer, because we then get the Brandy, I think it's Mikey and Zach, getting confronted by a very pissed off clown.
Yeah, this clown not
who's just
happy.
like, no, I know you were recording, and like, give me your cameras, your footage, all this shit.
He's asking for the tapes.
Telling them to get off the premises and all this stuff. And yeah, he's like, Mikey's like, you don't want to get me pissed off. And he's like, no, you know what? I want to get you pissed off. You pissed off. I want to fuck her.
Fuck her.
Yeah. And then they're like, okay, Randy, get on the trailer.
Get on there now.
And so, yeah,
cool.
and they end up leaving, essentially.
And we also find out Blue Skeleton's in Louisiana.
Yeah,
So now they're going to go there.
Yeah.
And yeah. Then we wake up, though, or someone is filming them now.
Yeah.
We're seeing kind of all of them being filmed as they are sleeping.
Someone's lurking in the bushes.
We see what's-his-face's ID getting stolen.
Yeah. Someone gets on the actual trailer at this point. Yeah.
The guy, who is it that wrote the rap and stuff?
Jeff.
So yeah, Jeff's ID is getting stolen. And probably because he wrote that awful rap and poem. And then they touched Brandy's face,
caressing her. Yeah, it's pretty gross. Everybody's asleep, and then
because we see every single one of them.
So that's when we're like, who is fucking filming?
Yeah, because at first you're like, oh, is someone just being weird? And like, is Mikey drunk and he's getting up in the middle of the night filming everyone? Yeah. And then you're seeing like everyone's faces, and you're like, ooh. No. Yeah. And then they just touch Brandy's face, and then they walk past the bathroom in the trailer, and it
kind of tries to show you the face, but it glitches away before that to like some green witch little child.
And the cut there, I remember it actually kind of scaring, like not scaring me, but
abrupt.
Like it was abrupt, and because I was really trying to focus in on the face in the mirror, so I was like really focusing, and then it was like, and I was like,
yeah.
Because my attention was
and then it cuts to like a little girl, I think, in like a green witch makeup or something like that, or some green witch.
Something. And it's saying now that it's one day till Halloween. And Zach finds their video on an online chat forum for haunted house people
that was watching them sleep. So it's whoever was filming it already uploaded it, and they're like, whoa, how did this happen?
Yeah, like which one of you motherfuckers did this? But then he was like, no, every single one of us are in this video. He's like, how is this really possible? Weird. Yeah.
And so that's whenever they're like, well, don't tell the rest of the gang, but it's already too late, because
what does that sound? Oh,
I think it's the people who are painting.
Oh, okay. I was like, what's happening? Are we about to get murdered?
No, you're good. Sorry, you guys. Some people were painting outside in front of the building that you're recording in. And so it's Caitlin's jumpy after that jump scene. That scared her. Yeah.
It was like very like metal, like scraping on ground. So I was like, oh my God.
Someone coming in with
it's
like a
pyramid
big
head.
Literally that's
coming in.
Yeah. And so we have them I lost my train of thought, Caitlin.
It's okay. No. Mikey finds a weird heart thing in the fridge, which is disgusting. It's like a heart.
Because they didn't want to tell the other people of the gang, but then it's too late because he finds it in the fridge.
And he goes and pukes.
He's retching. He's like, this is gross. He's throwing up. And that's whenever Zach like gets in and he wants to throw it off, which he does.
Basically just saying, hey, it's all part of the haunt. Like, it's totally okay. This is like a controlled situation, and it's like, no, the fuck it's not, Zach.
Like they got on to the fucking trailer.
They filmed us while we were sleeping, took our ID, well, Jeff's ID, and put a heart in the fridge.
It's creepy.
It's clearly not a human heart. It looks like too big.
That's crossing some lines. Yeah, it looked like an animal part. I don't know. Was it even a heart? It looked like a big old liver,
a spleen.
Yeah.
Or a sheep belly.
The way that it was shaped. And so it could have been like a goat stomach or something, a sheep stomach. That's hilarious. That's the ghost, you guys. It's the haunts.
They're coming to
they get to a gas station, right?
Recording as well.
They're literally coming to get us. So they're at a gas station. They're on their way to Baton Rouge, right?
Yes.
Because that's where they got the kind of tip that this is where the blue skeleton is.
If you want to move closer, head to Baton Rouge.
That's
Ask
right.
for Giggles at the D&D bar was the hint they got. And so they're heading there to Baton Rouge.
Yeah, and they arrive at the bar, and it already looks shady because Zach's already like, sorry, you guys, this is the place that they said to come to. And they go in.
Because it looks like you're kind of almost run-of-the-mill, like weird honky-tonk kind of bar that's just abandoned. Or not abandoned, but like, you know, small town. It's only the regulars there.
Yeah, for sure. But
then they're all in like they're all in
spooky
Halloween
attire.
makeup.
They all are in their garb, and so that's whenever they meet a person at the bar, and he's like, "Hey, do you know who Giggles is?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think I know a Giggles. He comes here every once in a while. If y'all go sit over there, he'll meet with you here in a little bit." Yeah,
and they're just told to wait.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting there kind of awkwardly while those people are there.
There's all kinds of people around them.
Weird couple, like awkwardly slow dancing. And they're the only people
dressed,
there.
Yes. And then we have a dude who's like, I don't know, eating peanuts, just like watching them.
Yeah.
And then he's like, why y'all recording? And then it kind of cuts away for a minute, but it comes back. And then we have this really creepy, like ghoul, I don't know, this really creepy clown dude just giggling and laughing and coming and walking towards them and away from them.
Dancing so weird.
Yeah.
His whole body's like,
very creepy.
He looks like one of those inflatable dolls at car shops.
Yeah. It's very creepy. And so, that's whenever he's doing all this stuff, and they're like, "Are you Giggles?"
And he giggles and is like, basically,
that's pretty much that's confirmation.
Yeah.
But at this point, Brandy goes to the bathroom because she's just like, okay, whatever. But then the other people come as soon as she goes to the restroom. They're like, okay, Giggles is outside if y'all want to go talk to him.
Yeah.
And the guys are just like, okay, let's go, and do not wait for fucking Brandy.
They leave Brandy. And they left the camera on the table
as well. And then other people who were inside there find the camera. They're like, oh, look, the city boys left their camera.
Yeah, let's make a movie.
They go to which just means they go to the restroom to go pester Brandy. Yeah, poor Brandy. And they're basically almost SA her. And
they completely had her cornered in that bathroom.
For sure. She ends up being able to get out, and then thankfully one of the guys is like right there. I think it's Bobby, and she's like, they followed me into the restroom, and then he's like, give me back my camera. So they do give it back to him. But yeah, it could have been a really bad situation. That for me, let alone for Brandy, like that's that was just really scary. And that's also goes to show like they didn't care. Zach and Bobby, like nobody cared, like because that could have been really bad.
That could have been a bad situation. It was already a weird situation she was in general. Yeah, and then at that point they're like, oh, we can never leave Brandy alone again, which I mean kind of comes
many times.
Yeah. At the end, their hands kind of forced,
but still.
But yes.
Yeah. And so I'm like, these people are taking it way too far.
Yeah, they are.
So they're talking about Louisiana and MySpace, and then. At this point, I think we get like a bang or something.
Yeah, people are banging on the windows.
Yeah.
And someone's on the roof.
Someone's on the roof. And then the lights are turned off. Like their power is out. And that's when they're freaking out. And so they end up like deciding to like cut the engine or something on or something. Or there's some backup generator
with like turning on the actual RV lights, itself. Yeah. And so whenever the lights cut on, there's like
1,000.
They're surrounded.
They're surrounded by all these carnies.
At least like 50 people.
Yeah.
It's a fuck ton of people just surrounding their RV. And then it just cuts to Halloween, I think.
Yeah, because they're there, and then they like look away for a whole minute or whatever, or they do something because something happens. It takes their attention away, and then they're all gone. Like in a matter of seconds. That's right. And then they were like, and then it's Halloween.
And then something's like immediately fucking with them, shaking their RV, and they find a pumpkin outside.
Yeah, and it says "Carve me"
with the note on it, "Carve me."
Yeah,
and then inside all it says is Bourbon Street, 10 p.m. It's
an invitation, and that's whenever they're like, "We're not fucking doing this," and Zach's like, "But it's a fucking invitation. We gotta go now.
We have to go."
Yeah, he's very persistent. He's like, "This is Halloween. Like, this is what we came here for.
You can't just get an invitation and not go.
Like, we've got to do it." So everybody reluctantly is like, "Well, okay, we're gonna go."
And then they find the blue skeleton masks all on their windshield wipers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's such a creepy way, because like then you're forced to get out of your car. I don't know. It just makes me think of all those.
Well, and they had to still be there in the vicinity as well.
Yeah.
Because
literally they were shaking the RV to like basically wake them up and cue them to go outside. And then they found all of that. And so it's like, I don't know. But
so, they end up going to Bourbon Street, and we see that it's of course like packed as Bourbon Street usually is. There's people getting drunk everywhere, and they're trying to find. And it's also Halloween. I know it's especially crazy
it's
that
gotta
night.
Be
and so they're looking for someone in a blue skeleton mask.
They don't even really know what they're looking
honestly,
for.
Yeah,
they're just walking around, and someone, I believe it's Jeff, happens to see someone in a blue skull mask and is like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna go follow them." But then we find out that Jeff got separated from all of them.
Everyone, yeah. And so they're all looking for the same person who was in the blue skull mask, and he was in a blue jacket, was he not?
Yes, yeah. He was in a blue jacket, which was what Bobby was also, like a blue zip-up hoodie, and Bobby was also wearing that. And so from the back, we're thinking he's following Bobby because we're just seeing a blue like hoodie up over, with a blue skull mask. And so he's like, Bobby, what the hell? And follows him down this alleyway. Yeah. Just sus.
Yeah. And then he ends up going and tucking away and finding somewhere, some opening. And that's whenever he starts, the lady in the porcelain doll mask comes out.
Yeah, porcelain girl's at the end. He turns around. The bunny is behind him back.
Now. There's which he hadn't met yet. And then there's a bunch of another clown guy, I think, and he gets jumped, basically.
Yep, they get him.
They do. And he gets taken away. They pick up his camera. They drag him off screen. And this is when we cut back to the rest of the game, and we can't find Jeff, so they're freaking out and they're trying to call him, but his voicemail has already been like recorded over, and it's like, if you want to meet your friend at this place in this intersection at midnight, whatever.
And basically telling him like that's kind of the new formal invitation, saying this is where you need to go for the blue skeleton, basically.
And so they are kind of all freaking out. Most of them aren't having it, but Bobby is the one convincing them, like, we have to see this through because we can't leave Jeff. Like, we have to get Jeff back.
We can't just fucking leave him. Like, exactly.
And so...
Well, but also, like, maybe just go get the police.
But also, yeah, right? And so...
That's what I would do.
They end up driving on this road, trying to get to that intersection, and they get to a point the get cut off by like another bus, and it's the bus.
They were sitting there waiting for a bit, and then the school bus approached.
Yeah, and it cuts off the road, it blocks it, and then they're like, if you want your friend alive, like, come out right now.
They said 60 seconds, come outside or your friend will die.
Yeah.
And they were like talking like, what? Like, well, I'm not going out there. Like, I'm not scared of them. Like, okay, I'll go do it. And then we get another text that says, you will be scared 30 seconds.
Yeah, so it's like they can hear them.
And then
we get a text that says surprise.
Surprise.
And they get attacked, and like all the glass breaks in the trailer.
Because there's a fucking bomb. There's a bomb in the RV, and it like goes off, and then these big guys come in through the back or something and kidnap all of them.
Yeah.
They're like coming in through where the bedroom is. They're
like,
busted through that window.
And though they take them, they've got everybody, they're like bound and hooded. They end up
they zip tie them, put sacks over their heads so they can't see. And then the whole time, fucking Zach's just like, hey, relax, guys, it's fine.
It's just a part of the thrill.
It's not fine. Yeah. Zach, actually,
it's really
not okay at all.
Would not be okay with it. And so they're all getting taken on this bus. They're getting filmed by the blue skeleton people gang, and they're essentially like Mikey's trying to like console Brandy next to him, but they end up moving Mikey away from her, and then they end up taking
him off the bus first.
But not before they scream at Brandy, I believe, fuck with her. And so they end up taking him off the bus first, followed by Zach and Bobby, and then they leave Brandy on the bus and take her to a different well, I want to say it's the same location because it's the same house, but just like a different part of
the room. Yeah. But then of course they have no clue because they've been all zip tied and
they can't
blindfolded.
See anything. And before she gets to go off to her spot in the house, she is told by one of the people, like, there is they've cut her zip ties and you can take off your hood in like so amount of seconds.
Yeah, they tell her to count to 30, then remove your hood, pick up the video camera, and record everything you see. Is what they tell her.
Yeah, and we will be watching.
Yeah, and remember, we will be watching.
And we cut to the boys.
Yeah, because I guess we can assume that once they dropped him off, someone's kind of stayed with them, or like someone was stationed there and basically was like told them the same thing.
Yeah,
like, I'm gonna leave. Count to 30. I'm leaving a video camera next to you.
Yeah.
And
because they all go into their own separate parts of the building.
Mm-hmm.
Mikey's recording. He goes in first, and he's kind of like, "What the fuck do I do? What do I fuck do I like?" He's kind of really scared at this point. We have Brandy inside the house as well. And
it's kind of switching between all of there's creepy jazz music happening in one of the rooms, and they're just like they're all completely isolated,
silent. Is completely blacked out.
Yeah. Which
Zach's
is Zach's
room.
in.
Yeah.
And it's like that must be so terrifying to be, because most of the time what's I guess reassuring about a haunted house is that you get to go in with a group. You're not typically going in by yourself.
Yeah.
You're not really alone. But then this time they've taken them and they've put them each in their own little areas. Because even Zach and Bobby, who were taken off at the same time, right? I believe so.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Yeah, they still end up in separate areas.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So they've completely like isolated them. You don't have any security.
It feels like they put them at like this one square room where it's like they put one boom, 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 and like let them in. It's like a rat maze almost, and they like might have found each other in the middle.
Well, because at one point
they do cross paths.
Yeah, at one point Bobby gets real close to Mikey, isn't it?
He sees him.
Yeah, sees him through
another room and like a plexiglass kind of thing situation, double-sided mirror situation.
Yeah, but Mikey can't
see him.
Yeah, and I don't know. That's just
so they're all getting fucked with heavily.
Unsettling.
Mikey's in that one room and Bobby can see him. The lights go out and Bobby's like, "Get out of there! Get out of there!" Zach is terrified.
Zach's getting like attacked by a fucking chainsaw.
And he has like this one little like what's it called, a neon glow stick.
Oh yeah.
And he's getting attacked by the person with the chainsaw. And then we have at this point
there's some creepy man in Bobby's corner, and it's just like.
And then it goes dark for everybody pretty much. And then we just have like Brandy. Is in the trunk again. This is where we started the movie, where she had the blood all over her. She was in the trunk. She looks like she's been traumatized. And then we have them taking her and putting her into, they have pre-dug this hole, and it's got a coffin in it, and they put her in the coffin.
Yep, to bury her alive. And hers is, of course, like just literally the most rudimentary, like what the fucking pilgrims had.
It's like a wooden coffin, yeah.
Just wood.
The other guys have like
plush
coffins because it shows them all in coffins as well.
Which honestly,
minus Jeff.
I don't know, at that point it takes up more room, and so you're like kind of closer to the lid, which is maybe a little more terrifying. Yeah, because at least hers was kind of open.
But you also, but also
wasn't her head on a fucking like slab of like a carcass?
I think you said that. I don't remember.
I feel like her head was on something gross. I don't remember. I don't have it written down, but I feel like her head was on something nasty. Or whatever the fuck her little pillow was not as nice as the other pillows.
Okay, yeah. But also
it was like a Motel 6 pillow.
Yeah. It sucks though, because they start, as soon as she kind of starts to come to and she's like looking up, they close the lid on her and start burying her in there. In it. And it's really scary because you can like hear like the dirt coming on top of the coffin lid. And that's whenever that's
when she's finally like actually like coming to, because the whole ride over she was kind of in and out of consciousness, and now she's like, oh fuck, I could fucking die.
Yeah, literally.
Which is so scary. And then we kind of end with this quote that says, you want to make it so bad that they aren't going to escape. We don't want them to escape.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And then it's just kind of a cliffhanger.
Yeah, it really does. Just and you essentially believe that everyone's dead.
Yep. What if we judged it based on only that and pretend there's not a second one?
Okay.
Let's
do that.
Let's do that. They all die. Everyone's fucking dead. They get buried alive in this little
they deserve it
coffin. Yeah, some of them not so great. How many boos would you give this now? Still less.
I feel like I gave it a 1. That the one when rating the first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So maybe I gave it a 2 to be nice.
I feel like you did.
Did you think so? I really don't remember. Why don't I remember?
You did. Maybe you did give it a 1.
Because I feel like there's a movie that I've given a 1, and it's got to be this one. Because I remember recently, because it wasn't Grave Encounters, and it wasn't. I know. The Conjuring. Yeah. And so, yeah.
Unless it was Halloween.
One. It was this.
Kills.
Oh, you know what? I think it was Halloween Kills that I might have given.
Spoiler alert.
No.
No, it could have been this one. I know you weren't a fan.
The way we're going through all the views. Sorry. Whatever, you guys. Omit that. I don't even think that. You know what? But Okay, I'll give it.
It doesn't matter.
I'll give it a 2. I'm still going to
now?
stick with the 2. Yeah,
Okay.
if that's what I gave it. If I gave it a 1, then I will
The
bump it up
world
to a 2.
will literally never know.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay.
It's gone.
It's a 2.
Only Jesus knows.
Yeah, that's a 2 for me. That's a 2 for me, dog.
That's fair.
What about you?
Why is that?
Oh, I just
hate it.
well, okay. No, I a lot of it has to do with just the style of movie it is. I don't really care for found footage style as much because I have really bad motion sickness, and I know that's really lame, but like I just can't handle watching it. It makes me really nauseous, and like just it's not a fun ride for the most part. Otherwise, I mean, the story even too is just kind of like it was okay. I kind of feel like by that point, like they all should have pulled away from it, like pulled out, like, okay, this is good enough, like this is enough. Like essentially, if we are doing this is like they all died at the end, well then it's like, well, they kind of brought it on themselves.
Yeah.
Because
well, at that point, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I think they totally did. But would you have liked the film more if they had actually bailed? And then it was just like, okay, end of the film.
Well, there's no film.
And they went
That's
home.
true.
Yeah.
Obviously. That's
they have
true.
to finish it out.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I just didn't like the movie.
That's fair. It's not. I mean, I personally did enjoy it.
I know. You
I
really
think,
like it.
Well, I do remember saying I had less of appreciation for it when rewatching it. But the first time, just watching it for fun, I didn't mind it at all. I thought it was pretty good. I personally do like found footage, as we know. And I do get motion sickness, but not, I remember there's been a few scenes in movies where I'm like, okay, I have to look away. There was something in the Deep House in that scene where they're all underwater. I remember I was kind of like, okay, I can't look at this. It's starting to make me sick.
Yeah.
And so occasionally there have been times like that. But overall, I still really did enjoy this film. I think I gave it probably a 3 or a 3.5. I'm going to go with a 3.
3.
I did really enjoy it. And like I said, people don't really necessarily have to die for me to
enjoy the movie.
Enjoy it. However, I do love that it ended on a cliffhanger and like if I was watching this for the first time and Houses October Built 2 did not exist and I did not know at all, like I would love that ending.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Because again, I like being left in the dark. Because I mean,
they literally were left in the dark.
Yeah, you're basically like left to assume that sure they're dead.
Yeah.
But you never know. Something could happen where someone did alert the cops at one point and was like, "Hey, some shady shit's going down."
Which does end up happening in the second one.
And that's what happened. Is the cops came just in the nick of time and got these people out alive. Which who knows? Maybe that could have also been a part of the act though, because like it was just supposed to be a very extreme haunt, and then that kind of makes them believe that they survived something when they possibly didn't. I've not actually seen the second one, so who knows?
I'll have to watch it sometime.
But yeah, I think I'd give it a 3. We do have one listener review. So this is from Jeff, and because I had like reached out to him whenever we did, because he had said that, you know, like that they were excited to watch this film and stuff, and then so I reached out whenever we did cover it. And then they hadn't been able to watch it yet. But basically they said they would give it 4 boos. And it says, first off, right from the get-go at the bar scene, the second I heard the character named Jeff, I wrote in my notes, initial guess during the bar scene, Jeff is going to be a Gorham Goob, usually is. So just some nice identification. And he said, and it took, 5 minutes before he had his poem about organic pancakes read. He said, instant validation feels nice sometimes. Basically, he was just like, I've got this character pinned. I know exactly, because of course when it's your name too, you always pay special attention
to those characters.
Yeah. And then he says, and then of course he had to rap later because why not? And he says, I love the premise of taping a road trip to the best haunt spots out there. And I thought everything was done organically. He said, because I'm a Jeff, gotta love that shit. And he said, in terms of filming and progressing the story, nothing seemed too forced. I absolutely love the scene where the person crept through the RV while they slept, which I agree. That was a very good scene. Because it's, that's fucking creepy. The idea that anyone's filming you while you sleep, because sleeping is such a vulnerable position to be in.
Oh, yeah.
You have no fucking clue what you do. And like that paranoia can go as far as like farting in your sleep. And like you're next to a new partner or something, and then you just farted.
Yeah.
to being filmed in your sleep by randos crawling onto your RV.
Because it happens, you
I'm
guys.
just scared to sleep, y'all.
It just happens.
Or you have terrifying nightmares.
It's true.
But
what else did Jeff say?
He said it was hands down. He said that was hands down the favorite part for me.
Okay.
He said I called "fuck you" on Zach and Bobby. He said I think that those were the people for not showing people that video. And he says you don't keep that shit quiet, which is the video of them together. And that's right. They did try to like not
Keep
tell
it
the
hush.
whole crew. Yeah, because they're like, oh, maybe let's not freak them all out.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you should probably let people know that
They're
they
filmed and
are,
put on a website.
Yeah, because especially if they found out later and someone, like they found out on their own accord and they were like, oh my God, did you see this? And then Zach and Bobby
have no
were
idea
like,
about it. Yeah.
oh yeah, we saw that later or earlier. And
I'd be
then
pissed off.
I would be very mad. And
very upset.
He said I couldn't suspend my disbelief enough during the scene where they were all bagged and zip tied. He said you could tell they were reading lines, and the lines seemed to be written for people not blindfolded. And he said it was a bit odd for me. He said also calling bullshit that the dudes all got buried in fancy caskets while zonked out, and Brandy got woken up so she could experience being buried alive in a shitty wooden coffin. And he has a fuck you emoji, and he says, "What the fuck, dude?" And he says, all in all, I enjoyed the movie and definitely want to check out the second part at some point.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I'll
have
good.
to check out the second part too.
Yeah, I want to just know what in the world
where it could go from there.
is even. Yeah. Oh, and then they had also said that they were listening to the As Above, So Below episode while cleaning. And he said, I freaking love that movie so much. An easy 4.5 boost from me. And he was like, and then he said 0.5. And I was like, we definitely get into the 0.5s later. And he says, I'm still looking for my notebook to send the in-depth review of the house's October built. And then he had sent that. But yeah. So
that's awesome. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Thank you for the input.
We love the input and
we really do.
feedback. So
a 4.5,
4.5, a 3,
and a 2.
and a 2.
I don't know the math there.
That makes it a 3.5.
Right?
I would think. I also don't know math. Don't sign me up for that class because I'm not good at it. I'm actually not good at anything. How are you doing all this right now? I don't even know what you're doing.
I don't know. I'm going to find it. It's a 3.1.
Okay. So basically,
yeah.
wow, we're so smart.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're geniuses.
Geniuses. We are. But yeah, once again, we are in the lovely Rogue Media Network studio.
That's right. Recording this for the second time because I'm telling you, those people came for us.
They did. The blue skeleton people.
Fucking porcelain girl came in here. You tell this to the police. They came in. He's not even listening.
And
you all know if we go missing.
We do. Please, it is the blue skeleton.
It's the blue skeleton people.
Or whatever it's called today.
Porcelain girl, bunny
also,
man coming for us. I would actually shit myself if I saw one of those in real life now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be scared driving home.
Yeah. And so we're here. Please listen and check out all the other awesome podcast shows that they have, which you can listen to at roguemedianetwork.com.
That's right. And speaking of other shows on their network, we actually do have a live show coming up with one of the other fantastic shows on this network, Poltergals, with Debbie and Allison. And so we are going to do a live show on October 22nd at Nexus. Yeah. And I believe it's $15 to get in.
Yep.
And then so you'll get to see them we're going to be covering the Amityville horror or the Amityville haunting, the original film.
Yes.
And they'll be discussing, because they're a paranormal podcast, we'll be discussing the haunting of the actual Amityville house.
Yeah.
And then we will be covering the film.
The movie.
Yeah. Probably a little more abbreviated version. But then afterwards, you'll be able to feel free to stay, hang out, because they'll be playing the actual film itself.
Yes.
But then the show will technically be concluded and you can just hang out, chit chat, mingle while the film's going and
have a drink.
Yeah. Some little snacks and stuff like that. And yeah, it'll be a good time.
Be fun.
So if you're free October 22nd in Waco, make sure, or anywhere near Waco, please make sure you come. And then it will be a recorded event, I believe. Yes. So hopefully we can release that
as well, and it'll be posted
someday
somewhere
for y'all.
Yes. Yeah. And then if you
can't come there, you can listen to us
on all of your major streaming platforms. The most major two being Spotify and
Apple.
And if you do listen, please make sure you rate, review,
like and subscribe.
Yeah, sorry, put you on the spot.
Wherever you do, just make sure you do that because it's the only way we can get ahead.
Yes.
Yep.
And what else do we usually say here?
If you want to let us know what horror films you want covered or your thoughts on the houses October built. And like I said, we just read the one for As Above, So Below, which is a film we covered so long ago. So if you're a new listener, but there's a film that, well, like say you love The Exorcist, it's your favorite one. That's the first film we covered. We will still read your review.
Yeah, please let us know.
We want to know your thoughts on any of the films we've covered. So please reach out to us on our exactly one social media platform of Instagram, and that is at
BooBaes Podcast, and that's BOOBAES because we're your BooBaes, not your BooBabes.
That's right.
Yes.
And until next time, you guys.
Bye, Baes.
Bye, Baes.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Are you a podcaster? Let's talk podcast hosting. Are you tired of your current podcast host? Need real support and a community that gets it? At Rogue Media Network, we offer top-tier podcast hosting services to help you thrive. From hosting and distribution to dedicated support, we've got you covered. Starting as low as $25 a month. Join our community of passionate podcasters today. Contact us at hello@roguemedianetwork.com.